I really should be drinking wine, but I'll take cranberry juice. Alright guys, so the only thing that I can say is really overwhelming 2 months postpartum is the lack of sleep. Well, actually there's quite a few things that are overwhelming, but I wouldn't say that anything is really bad. Like, the lack of sleep is not as bad as I thought it would be. I probably get around 3-4 hours, sometimes even 1 hour of sleep a night. And I don't think this has much to do with my husband, because he does have to go to work and I'm not about to wake him up if he has to go to work. But there are times in the morning where he will just go ahead and take Zane, because he's realized that for a week I have not gotten really any sleep. One thing I've had to learn during this 2-month period as well is to ask for help when I need it. I am not the type to ask for help. I am the type to say, you know what, I got it. Like, you should already know what I need help with. Like, I'm one of those types on a normal basis. Like, why should I have to ask you for help? Like, you should already know. You should already know. I already know when you need help. Like, that's the type of person I am. That's not the person I am anymore. That was 2 months ago, okay? Now, I'm like, hey, you need to wake your butt up, because I haven't gotten any sleep in 3 days. And I'm starting to go a little cuckoo. It's just, it's a little overwhelming. It's like the days go by like this and I'm like, hey, what did I get done? The house is a mess. What am I really doing? My body is definitely feeling a lot better. I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little terrified of sex because I do not want to tear or anything. Although we've had sex a couple of times after, I'm still very like, just a tip please. And I know that's a lot of information, but that is literally me. I'm like, hey, just a tip, because I'm scared. Like, I'm really scared. If you really think about it, it's like, this head came out of there. That head is not that big, so it should fit, right? I don't know, it's a lot to think about. Be a little cautious, use a little lube. You should be good. Back to not being so strange. This is probably a lot for you guys to take in. There is a gnat over my head. Big thing to also adjust with is breastfeeding. I'm now at the point where I don't struggle as much with breastfeeding anymore. He latches pretty well, but I do recommend that if you decide to breastfeed, you should not use a bottle for at least a week or 2 weeks, unless if your baby is really struggling with latching and they're not eating at all. And I would recommend you pumping and putting that milk in there instead, because the issue with me was I used the bottle his 3rd day because he wasn't latching. Instead of being patient for at least 20 minutes trying to get him to latch, I was not doing that because I was so tired. And it gets like that, and a lot of the time a lot of moms' milk decreases because the baby's not latching and, you know, things are just not working out. I definitely wish I would have been more patient. I was already patient, like 10 minutes trying to get him to latch, but I wish I would have just pushed that extra 5 minutes to see if he would have latched, because now that the bottle was brought into it, he latches a lot better with a bottle. But I stopped that around the 1 month mark, and I was like, hey, you know, my milk has decreased because of all this stuff. I'm gonna get into that in this video, but I want to make sure that my milk is not completely gone or leaving my body, because I want him to feed from me as long as possible, especially with Similac being very expensive. And I just didn't want to bring that into our finances, and I also wanted him to get what I felt was best for him. And breastfeeding is not always best for every baby, you know, but I felt like there shouldn't be a reason why I'm giving up so easy. Now, getting into breastfeeding tips, I definitely want to say be cautious about pumping, because I started pumping the 3rd day that he came, and I was pumping every couple of hours. Now, I had already adjusted to the schedule. Mind you, I'm at the hospital still. I'd already adjusted to the schedule. 2 weeks later, my pump stops working for a whole day. He's having trouble latching as much, and the next day my milk had gone from pumping 6 ounces from, well, 3 ounces each breast to half an ounce each breast the next day. So be very cautious about pumping and then not pumping. Even if you're not sticking to the schedule, just be cautious about not pumping the next day, because your milk supply may go down like this and you'll have no idea what hit you. And the worst part is that when your milk supply goes down that low, it takes weeks to pick back up. Like, it just hit the 2-month mark. It was 2 weeks. He was 2 weeks old when the supply went down, and then I had to just put him on my breast, and that was it. I had to stop pumping as well. I just had to show my breast that he is demanding more milk, and that's when it started to increase. But it took a whole 6 weeks for that to happen. So I suggest you being very cautious about what schedule you want to be on with pumping. Be very cautious about if you want to even pump at this point in time. I say wait till about a month, get the baby latching so you don't cave in too easy, except if there is certain circumstances where you're like, you know, I have to pump, I have to do this, I have to get formula, you know, those are different circumstances. The way that I get him to latch the best is by him smelling my nipple with the breast milk a little bit out. So that is how, because he'll give me like this big mouth, like I'll put it right here and then he'll give me a big mouth like this, and then he'll try to reach up. That helps me get as much as possible of my areola in his mouth, which gives him the best latch, which allows him to get the best amount of milk and not too much air. Now that we're talking about air, I want to say that I struggle a lot with him with gas. He is very gassy. It smells like an old man's farts. Minus that, the problem is his stomach hurts. So every day I have to give him stomach massages. I recommend that you look that up. I'll probably do another video where I show you all how to do it. But it's very important that you do bicycles and press their legs up, get that gas out, because you're going to get a lack of sleep if your baby's gassy, especially if they're gassy at night. He's trying to hold my hand. Now, I know you guys are probably irritable when people say, sleep when he sleeps, sleep when she sleeps. But that's for real. Like, if you only have one child, I definitely feel like you should be napping when your child naps, or you should be sleeping when your child sleeps. Now, this is what I did the first couple of weeks. When he would go down for a nap, I would go down for a nap, because I was so exhausted. Now, when I tried to fight back against that was when I had issues and I was grouchy and just not in the mood for anything. So I recommend when your baby goes down for a nap, you go down for a nap, because that was the only thing that kept me going weeks ago. And now I've realized that I've gotten off of that routine. I try to take personal time instead. It's hurting me more. I know that personal time is important, but I suggest if you have a baby and you know how long they sleep during their naps, then you take a certain percentage of time. Like, I would take 20 minutes of his 2-hour nap just to relax and enjoy myself, clean up a little bit. 20 minutes is actually a lot more time than you think it is, or even an hour. Like, you can take an hour out of that 2-hour nap to do things that you need to do around the house, to relax, get on your phone, look at Facebook, whatever you want to do. But make sure you are down for a nap, at least a part of that nap, even if it's a 10-minute nap, because you'll realize how big of a difference that makes in your day. It is really important to sleep when they sleep. I know you want to stare at them, I know you want to clean the dishes and stuff, but your sanity is very important at this time. So take care of your sanity. Okay, so at my 5-week mark is the first time I was away from Zane, like for hours. I actually went to Zumba, I went to the gym. I had already been cleared by my doctor at 5 weeks to go back to the gym and get to working out, to have sex. But I went to the gym right after being cleared, and I'm not gonna lie, I didn't want to leave him. I was like, I need to stay, he needs to eat, I'm breastfeeding, we don't have pumped milk in the freezer, we only have like maybe 6 ounces, and I know he likes to eat a lot. At 5-week mark, he was going through a growth spurt. He was eating a lot, and it's not the fact that I had to leave him with my husband, it was the fact that I had to leave him at all. I felt really crappy, but happy at the same time. It's like a win-lose situation. But I got to that Zumba, I felt like myself again, like I'm an individual again. And this is why I recommend that you get out, you find something that you can do by yourself, because it'll help you keep your sanity. I noticed when I stopped going to Zumba, I didn't go to Zumba for a week. It's 3 times a week. I didn't go for a week because I got sick. And this past week has been pretty rough. Like, I haven't felt like I've had time to myself. So when he takes a nap, or when he was taking a nap, I wouldn't take a nap because I needed that time to myself, or I felt like I needed that time to myself. But in all honesty, I needed to take a nap. So now I'm running on coffee and baby smiles, and that's not going to keep my sanity together. But I don't think it's that hard as long as you make a schedule. That was something I was very big on. I'm a Capricorn. Of course, I'm going to be big on making things as if they're a job. I made a schedule. I made sure that I kept track. I even have a file on my phone in my notes section that says he goes to sleep at, well, let's start it in the morning. He wakes up at 7 a.m. in the morning. I know that. I know he wakes up at 7 a.m. in the morning. He's going to scream until I open those shutters, the blinds, whatever it is, until I open those, and I start singing good morning to him. Good morning. Good morning. He knows that song. That is a routine. I tried to get him on a routine so that he would do it every single day, and he still does. So 7 a.m. he wakes up. I sing good morning to him, change his diaper, get him dressed. Sometimes we take a bath, but that was only once a week at the time. Now we do 3 times a week. But get him in the bath, sing to him in the bath, calm him, soothe him, put that lotion on, do his hair. He knew that this was a routine. And I would take him downstairs, we'd play a little. He'd be down by 9 a.m., 10 a.m. for a nap. That nap would last at least 2 hours. I knew that. 12 p.m., 1 p.m., when he would wake up, and I would sing to him, hello, how are you? Or say to him, hello, how are you? And put him on this little play mat thing right here. And then he would play for at least 30 minutes. For that 30 minutes, I knew that because I took that 10 a.m. nap with him. If I didn't take that 10 a.m. nap, I'd take a later one with him. But for that 30 minutes that he's playing on here, I would go wash the dishes. Probably not wash the dishes, that's my husband's chore. But I would cook or prep the food or whatever I needed to do in that time. By 3 o'clock, oh my God, 3 o'clock is where I hit a wall. I had to be down for a nap, so I lay down and I would breastfeed him while laying down, and I would do the lazy breastfeed technique, and he would go to sleep, I would go to sleep. I'd stay asleep for probably an hour, wake up, do whatever I need to do. He'd be down for like 3 hours and then wake up around 7 p.m. And then he'd only be up for another hour. I'd probably put him back on the play mat for him to, as soon as he wakes up, put him back on the play mat. He'll play around for a little bit, and that's how that would go. I would be able to finish cooking after I had already prepped earlier in the day. Like, routines are very important, I feel, and that is definitely something I try to stick with. I do find it a little difficult to know who you are after giving birth, because not only are you just an individual anymore, you're a mother, you're a spouse, like you're playing different roles. Now I'm playing multiple roles, and it gets a little confusing, especially when you're at this point in charge of someone's life, in charge of someone's safety. There's not a day I don't worry about him, thinking, is he gonna be okay? Is he all right? Is he happy? Is he sad? Why is my breast milk making him gassy? Why is he getting a lack of sleep because of the gas? Do I need to buy formula? Is formula better for him? There's always questions I have to see if there are better options for me to make for him. And I want you to know that that is normal. Thanks guys for watching.